This is not just about survival. This is about discovering the unstoppable force of faith when you've got nothing left but God. In life's harshest storms, when the money's gone, relationships have crumbled, and every door has slammed shut, you are left with a choice. Will you collapse under pressure, or will you rise through faith knowing that God alone is enough? Napoleon Hill once declared, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But first, you must act as if failure cannot break you." This is not motivational fluff. It is raw truth forged in the fire of real hardship for those gasping for hope and clawing for direction. Picture the moment you hit bottom, job lost, bills piling up, confidence shattered, and the silence that follows feels unbearable. That's when paralysis strikes. It's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's fear disguised as logic, telling you to wait just a little longer. Hill saw this pattern clearly. People waiting for a miracle while drowning in doubt, hoping for rescue while ignoring the rescue within. He exposed the six basic fears: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death, as invisible chains keeping you stuck. These fears don't just scare you, they freeze you. They convince you that motion is dangerous and faith is foolish. But here's the truth. Waiting is the killer. Procrastination is the polished name we give to fear wearing a suit. Hill teaches us that faith is not a mood, it's a decision. And indecision? That's spiritual suffocation. We wait for permission from life, for signs, for confidence. But what we need is conviction, forged through action. Even when a glimpse of hope appears, hesitation whispers, "You're not ready. You're not enough. What if it fails again?" Fear multiplies when left unchecked. It clouds judgment, fuels self-doubt, and blinds you from seeing what God already placed inside you. Hill didn't preach comfort. He preached power through decision. Move now. Not when you're certain. Not when you feel ready. Now. You don't wait for divine intervention. You step into it, through faith-driven movement that tells God, "I trust you, even in this." It can be a small act, a prayer spoken aloud, a journal entry, a decision to stop spiraling and start rebuilding. Faith is not passive. It's a force that activates destiny when you dare to move in spite of the storm. Your breakthrough isn't delayed by God. It's delayed by your reluctance to trust Him with your next step. Hill made it plain. Your belief must be backed by action. Faith without motion is fantasy. Choose now to build the discipline. Wake up early to pray. Write down affirmations. Declare purpose over your pain. Every act of consistency becomes a brick in the fortress of your comeback. Your habits in the valley determine your elevation to the mountain. Hill knew it. The greats lived it. Carve out routines rooted in truth, reflection, gratitude, service. These are not luxuries. They are lifelines. Over time, they become weapons, cutting through doubt, cutting through delay, cutting through darkness. Your past does not define you, but what you repeatedly do today will. Build vision through faith. Define goals that are heaven aligned. Then pursue them with ruthless clarity. Hill called it a definite G fame. Without it, you wander. With it, you win. Turn your desperation into determination by setting goals that make you partner with God, not beg from life. Dreams don't die because they're too big. They die because they're never connected to decisive, disciplined, daily action. And if you need proof, look at Andrew Carnegie, born into poverty, surrounded by doubt, but led by unstoppable belief in a higher purpose. When others hoarded, he built. When others feared, he acted. When others begged, he planned. Hill learned directly from him. Faith isn't just a spiritual idea. It's a strategy for dominion over circumstances. Carnegie's rise wasn't luck. It was spirit-fueled grit, sharpened by failure and driven by relentless discipline. He didn't wait for the economy. He became the economy. And you can do the same, starting today. So burn this truth into your soul. When a man has nothing left but God, he finds that God was always enough. But you must choose. Choose faith over fear, action over anxiety, purpose over pity. Take the step, speak the prayer, write the plan, break the chain. Because Hill's legacy is not a book, it's a call to those brave enough to act, especially when everything seems lost. This is your moment. Don't waste it waiting for motivation. Let faith ignite the fire. Let action seal the deal. You were not meant to crawl through this storm. You were meant to walk through it, head high, knowing God walks with you. So decide now. Will you let this adversity defeat you, or will you rise, rebuild, and reclaim the life God designed for you to live? Anyone can apply this to their own life, as Hill showed that these principles are universal and transformative. In conclusion, as Napoleon Hill taught, motivation and success follow faith-driven action, not the other way around. When nothing else remains, God becomes the source of infinite strength, guiding you through even the toughest trials. Remember, don't wait for the storm to pass. Embrace faith and become the change you seek. Start today by identifying your own nothing left moment and taking that first small, faith-based step. Commit to Hill's principles and watch as they unlock the resilience within you. In the end, you'll find that when you have nothing left but God, it's more than enough to create a life of purpose and triumph. In the depths of despair, when every earthly possession slips away, that's where the true essence of Napoleon Hill's wisdom shines brightest. Picture a man standing at the edge of ruin, his bank account empty, his relationships shattered, and his dreams in tatters. It's in that moment, as Hill so profoundly stated, that when a man has nothing left but God, he finds that God is enough. This isn't just a quote. It's a lifeline thrown to those drowning in failure. Imagine the isolation, the crushing weight of loss that paralyzes the spirit, leaving one questioning if there's any way out. Financial ruin can strip away homes, cars, and careers, but it also uncovers the raw vulnerability that demands a higher power. Failed relationships leave scars that echo in the silence, reminding us that human connections alone can't sustain us forever. Personal failures pile up like debris after a storm, blocking the path forward and fostering a deep-seated sense of defeat. Yet, Hill teaches us that this rock-bottom state is not the end. It's the beginning of a profound transformation. True progress, he insists, emerges when we shift from self-reliance to embracing faith as our guiding force. In Hill's view, depending on material things only leads to more disappointment, but turning to God ignites an unbreakable resilience. This shift creates forward momentum, where desperation becomes the fuel for spiritual action and ultimate success. So many wait for external salvation, hoping a lucky break or helping hand will magically resolve their crises. But as Hill warns, this passivity only prolongs suffering, keeping us trapped in a cycle of inaction. Waiting for a miracle means ignoring the divine guidance that's already within reach, ready to empower us. Hill's teachings reveal that true help comes from within, through faith, not from external sources that may never arrive. Indecision about faith holds us back as we doubt our worthiness or question if divine guidance even exists. Hill emphasizes that faith requires a conscious decision, a leap that breaks the chains of hesitation. Without that decision, stagnation sets in, turning temporary setbacks into lifelong regrets. Fear amplifies this indecision, whispering tales of further failure and uncertainty about what lies ahead. A sense of abandonment creeps in, making it harder to trust in anything beyond our immediate pain. Hill drew from interviews with successful people who faced these fears head-on, using faith as their shield. These fears create a vicious cycle, where doubt feeds more doubt, delaying the surrender to a higher power. But the solution lies in immediate action fueled by faith, as Hill so powerfully advocates. Turning to faith through prayer or reflection creates momentum, even in the midst of imperfection. Hill believed that faith is a state of mind that must be acted upon, transforming desperation into a force for change. This action builds genuine motivation over time, turning small steps into monumental leaps. Strengthening decisiveness means making a firm commitment to rely on God, as Hill taught through daily practices. Affirmations and seeking guidance become tools that break the cycle of fear, empowering clear forward movement. With this decisiveness, individuals gain clarity, seeing paths where once there were only obstacles. Now, practice that first step, perhaps writing a gratitude list or joining a spiritual community, without waiting for perfect conditions. Hill's stories show how one act of faith can ignite a chain reaction, leading to profound life changes. Overcoming hesitation starts by facing fear head on, with faith as your anchor. Immediate, faith driven action dissolves fear, reframing it as a temporary challenge rather than an end. Hill's examples illustrate how embracing God shifts focus from limitations to endless possibilities. In those moments, what seemed insurmountable becomes manageable, one faith-fueled step at a time. Learning from failure, as Hill asserted, is vital. It's not the end but a teacher that strengthens faith. Past setbacks, when viewed through a spiritual lens, become divine opportunities for growth and renewal. Each failure is a lesson, guiding us closer to our true purpose and the strength that faith provides. Build self-discipline as the key to sustained progress, rooted not in fleeting emotions, but in unwavering faith. Hill's principle is clear. Consistent habits like daily meditation build the mental fortitude to endure adversity. Without discipline, even the strongest faith wavers, but with it, we create a foundation for lasting success. Practice positive habits that support your faith, such as journaling reflections on Hill's lessons or acts of service. These routines turn your nothing left moment into a springboard for building a resilient life. Over time, these habits compound, turning small daily efforts into extraordinary achievements. Faith fuels a clear vision, giving direction and driving real progress, as Hill so eloquently described. A vision infused with faith transforms abstract desires into achievable realities, aligned with divine guidance. Without this, goals remain vague dreams, but with faith, they become tangible paths to success. Define specific, faith-aligned goals, like rebuilding after loss, and break them into actionable steps. Hill's definite purpose method encourages visualizing success with God's help, making your aspirations spiritually grounded. Start by outlining one goal today, infusing it with faith to give it the power to manifest. Let me share a real-life story from Napoleon Hill's own experiences to make this lesson come alive. Take Andrew Carnegie, whom Hill interviewed extensively. He rose from poverty through unwavering faith in a higher power. Carnegie faced immense challenges, losing everything in business failures, yet in his nothing left moment, he turned to God. That turning point led him to rebuild, eventually becoming one of the wealthiest men through steel and philanthropy. Hill himself endured personal struggles, including financial hardships, where he relied on faith to guide his path. In those dark times, Hill's commitment to spiritual action transformed his failures into the foundation of his success. The key takeaways from these examples are clear. Acting on faith overcomes hesitation and turns failures into stepping stones. Anyone can apply this, as Hill proved. It's not about extraordinary talent, but about extraordinary faith. In conclusion, as Hill taught, motivation and success follow faith-driven action, not the other way around. When nothing else remains, God becomes the source of infinite strength, propelling you forward. Remember, it's in our lowest moments that we discover the power within, waiting to be unleashed. This lesson from Hill isn't just theory. It's a proven path to resilience and triumph. Don't let fear or indecision hold you back any longer. Embrace faith as your greatest ally. Start by identifying your own nothing left moment, that pivotal point where change is inevitable. Take a small faith-based step right now, like praying for guidance or outlining a simple goal. Commit to Hill's principles daily, building the discipline that will carry you through any storm. As you do, watch how faith transforms your struggles into stories of victory. You're not alone in this journey. A higher power is always ready to support you. So, don't wait for the storm to pass. Embrace faith and become the change you seek, just as Napoleon Hill envisioned. In the depths of despair, when every earthly support crumbles away, that's where true strength begins to emerge, just as Napoleon Hill described. Imagine standing at the edge of ruin, with debts piling up and dreams shattered, feeling utterly alone in the storm. Hill's words echo through time. When a man has nothing left but God, he finds that God is enough, a beacon for those lost in the darkness. This isn't just philosophy. It's a lived reality for many, including Hill himself, who faced bankruptcy and heartbreak before turning inward. The problem isn't the failure itself, but the paralysis that follows, where hope seems extinct and every step feels impossible. You might be there right now, staring at an empty bank account or a broken relationship, wondering if there's any way out. Yet, Hill teaches that this very moment of desolation is the catalyst for change, forcing us to seek something greater than ourselves. True progress demands we release our grip on material illusions and embrace faith as the foundation for rebuilding. Waiting for external salvation only deepens the void. It's like expecting a storm to calm without ever stepping into the rain. Hill warned against this passivity, noting how reliance on luck or others keeps us stagnant, trapped in a cycle of blame and regret. Indecision about faith amplifies the isolation, where doubts whisper that you're unworthy or that divine help is a myth. But Hill's principle is clear. Faith requires a deliberate choice, a mental shift from fear to trust, even when evidence is scarce. Fear of more failure looms large, making uncertainty feel like a wall you can't climb, echoing the stories Hill collected from the greats. In those tales, successful individuals didn't wait for certainty. They acted despite the terror, finding God in their resolve. So, how do we break free? The solution lies in immediate, faith-fueled action, as Hill advocated, turning desperation into a powerful ally. Start with something simple, a quiet prayer or a moment of reflection, letting faith ignite the spark of motivation within you. Hill believed that faith isn't passive. It's a state of mind that demands movement, transforming doubt into decisive steps forward. Make that firm decision today. Commit to relying on a higher power, and watch as it breaks the chains of hesitation. Practice taking the first step, like writing down one thing you're grateful for, grounding yourself in faith's quiet strength. This action creates momentum, building genuine drive over time, just as Hill observed in those who rose from their lowest points. Facing fear head on is essential. Let faith reframe it as a temporary challenge, not an eternal barrier. Hill's examples show that embracing divine guidance shifts your focus from limitations to endless possibilities, dissolving the shadows. Learning from failure becomes easier with faith. Each setback is a teacher, guiding you toward growth and resilience. In Hill's view, those nothing left moments are divine opportunities, where past mistakes fuel your climb back to success. Build self-discipline as the key to sustaining this progress. It's not about fleeting emotions, but rooted habits of faith. Discipline means daily practices, like meditation on Hill's lessons or journaling your spiritual insights, forging mental fortitude. Without it, motivation wanes. But with faith as your anchor, you endure adversity and keep moving forward. Encourage positive habits that align with your goals. Set aside time for spiritual study or acts of service to others. These routines create a solid foundation, turning your rock bottom experience into a launchpad for lasting change. Now, faith fuels a clear vision. It gives direction when everything else is blurred, as Hill taught in his writings. Visualize your success with God's help, transforming abstract desires into tangible, achievable realities. The next step is defining specific goals, infused with faith, perhaps rebuilding your finances or mending relationships step by step. Use Hill's definite purpose method. Outline your objectives clearly, making them spiritually grounded and actionable. Break them into small tasks, so even in your darkest hour, you can take one faith-aligned step at a time. Real-life examples bring this to life, like Andrew Carnegie, who rose from poverty through unwavering faith in a higher power. Carnegie faced immense hardships, losing everything multiple times, yet he turned to God in his nothing-left moments. Hill interviewed him and others, learning how that pivotal shift led to innovative ideas and unprecedented success. In Carnegie's story, hesitation gave way to bold action. He learned from failures and built discipline through daily resolve. Key takeaways. Anyone can apply this. Your own struggles can become the soil where faith blossoms into achievement. Hill's personal battles mirrored this. After financial ruin, he embraced faith, which propelled him to write enduring works. These narratives reinforce that motivation follows faith-driven action, not the reverse, as Hill so powerfully asserted. When nothing else remains, God becomes the source of infinite strength, guiding you through the toughest trials. Don't underestimate this lesson. It's the essence of Hill's philosophy, turning despair into a pathway for triumph. As you reflect on your life, identify that nothing left moment. It's your invitation to embrace faith fully. Take a small step now. Pray for guidance or jot down a goal aligned with your beliefs, no matter how small. Remember, waiting only prolongs the pain. Act on Hill's principles to ignite your inner fire. Faith isn't about perfection. It's about persistence, one decision at a time, leading to profound transformation. Hill would urge you, build your vision with spiritual clarity, and watch as obstacles melt away. In the face of fear, let faith be your shield, turning uncertainty into opportunity for growth. Discipline your mind through daily habits, creating a rhythm that sustains your progress long after the initial spark. Like Carnegie, let your story become one of resilience, where failures are merely steps on the ladder to success. The power of this lesson lies in its universality. No matter your background, faith can be your greatest asset. Commit to Hill's teachings. Decide today that when you have nothing left, God is more than enough. Visualize not just survival, but thriving, with faith as your compass in the journey ahead. Overcome hesitation by acting immediately, proving to yourself that strength comes from within, guided by a higher power. In moments of doubt, recall Hill's words and the stories of those who turned their lives around. Build a community of support, perhaps through spiritual groups, to reinforce your faith and goals. Each day, practice gratitude, letting it fuel your motivation and dissolve lingering fears. Your nothing left experience is not an end. It's the beginning of something extraordinary, as Hill demonstrated. Take action now. Define your definite purpose, infused with faith, and start breaking it into manageable steps. As you do, you'll find that motivation builds naturally, drawing from an endless well of spiritual energy. Hill's most powerful lesson reminds us that true success is born from faith in the face of adversity. Don't let fear dictate your path. Instead, let faith lead you to new heights of achievement. Remember, every great figure Hill studied started from a place of desperation, yet emerged victorious through unwavering trust. Your turn is now. Embrace this principle, and transform your challenges into cornerstones of success. In closing, When you have nothing left but God, you'll discover that it's all you ever needed. Act on this today. Identify one faith-based step and take it, honoring Hill's legacy of resilience. As Hill might say, the journey begins with faith. Don't wait for the storm to pass. Learn to dance in the rain.